So today is a very happy and a very, very auspicious day for all of us. That we have to offer just a thread to our brothers for their protection. I've already told you the story of Alexander the Great. How many of you have not heard it? Raise your hands. Look at that. Can't be. All right. So I'll tell you the story of Alexander. You're very clever, I know. All right. So, the story of Alexander is like this. That Alexander the Great invaded India, much before Buddha was born. Or we can say after Buddha was born. And he went with the idea of conquering the whole of India. He was a very powerful man. But God did not want that perhaps. So he was once defeated and one king called Puru arrested him. Alexander had married an Indian lady. And when he was under the arrest of this king, that was the day of this Raksha Bandhan, the same day. So, she was a clever lady. She put one thread like this in a small little plate and covered it nicely with some nice cloth and sent it to the king Puru in his court. When he took it to the court, somebody and gave it to him, he had to wear it because that was the day of Raksha Bandhan. And that day anybody who sends you this thread, you become the brother. So then he asked, who is my sister? So they said, she is the wife of Alexander. And he got really upset with it because a sister's husband is something very great in India. So he rushed to the jail and he fell straight on his knees and begged of his pardon. He said, I'm sorry, sir. I didn't know you were the husband of my sister. He said, what? Yeah, you are. And I'm sorry. I'm very sorry for this thing that I have chained you this way. I have put you here and behind the bars. This was very wrong on my part. And he was so apologetic that Alexander could not understand the whole thing. Not only that, he brought him back and put him on the throne, his own throne. And he said, now you rule here. I cannot say anything. Now you become the real king and I have to become sort of your subject. So Alexander started looking at him. He said, I can't understand this. So then he went to his house. With so many things that the king had given him. He gave jewelry, he gave saris, clothes for him and all kinds of things, plus horses and elephants. And then when he reached home, he found that his wife was smiling behind the doors. He said, what's the matter? He said, don't you understand? He said, no, I don't understand. These Indians are funny people. I am such a dangerous man. He had put me in the jail and now he has released me. I just can't understand these Indians. How can this happen to a person who is so dangerous? So then she smiled and she said, see, today is the day of Raksha Bandhan and this is the thread I sent him. And because this thread was tied to him, he became my brother and he had to release you because you are my brother. He was so frightened. He said, that settles it, I am going home. Because with these Indians who can leave a prisoner only on a thread, you can't manage. These people are very difficult. He could not understand. Somebody can translate it in Italian, because there are some Italian people here. You can do it later on. The story can be told to them in Italian language. So this is what it is. It's so important that on this day, if this is tied on your wrist, then you become brothers and sisters. Now in Sahaja Yoga, brotherhood is the most important thing. That is the friendliness among ourselves. When you are very good brothers and sisters, first of all, your left Vishuddhi improves. This left Vishuddhi. You get this left Vishuddhi because we don't have proper brother and sister relationship. It's not that we should have our own sister, but any woman who is a Sahaja Yogini is your sister, except for your own wife. And this is the feeling. Unless and until we develop that pure feeling within ourselves, you cannot work out Sahaja Yoga. Sahaja Yoga cannot be worked out. I know it's rather difficult to digest, but it's a fact. You have to feel clean and pure within your heart. Now see, we are so many Sahaja Yogis together, live in ashrams. We have no problems. But supposing if you had these problems, this girl is running away with that boy is running with that girl, you would not have known with whom she is living today. And those problems can only be solved if you have the proper sense of a sister and a brother. And that is our dharma. That is our valency. That we should know that we have a brother who is our Rakhi brother, and all others are also our brothers. A pure relationship must exist between brothers and sisters, and of course you have your own wife, which is your private thing. There should be something like private in Sahaja Yoga, and that is the only thing that is private for you, that you are husband and wife. The rest of it is all collective, and we have to live in a collective way among ourselves in very pure relationships. Now, as it is, we have to be in a collective being. At the slightest provocation, people become non-collective. They cannot have rapport with other Sahaja Yogis, they cannot talk to other Sahaja Yogis, they cannot live with other Sahaja Yogis, then something wrong with them. They must understand something wrong with them and nothing wrong with others. I know of a Sahaja Yogi who came and told me, Mother, they are very unkind to me, they are very suspicious of me, they do this and do that. Nothing of the kind. It was his own mind that was working like that and giving him ideas against other Sahaja Yogis. So never criticize your brothers and sisters. There is no need to criticize. If you have to criticize, criticize yourself. Best way is to criticize yourself and see for yourself what's wrong with you that you cannot fit into the collective. As you know, it's a tremendous task and so important today, so vital, that we all should establish Sahaja Yoga properly. Without Sahaja Yoga, do you see any other remedy, any other solution for today's chaos? We do not see any. Now what do we have to do? I don't say you must bring Himalayas here. Nor do I say that you must swim for 7 miles together. Nor do I say that you must take a plane which will take you round the world in one night. Nothing of the kind. These feats are not needed. A simple feat of rapport, of love being communicated to others. Just a simple thing it is. It's the simplest. You see the children, how they are so simple, how they are so natural, that they immediately feel the love and immediately react to it. But we cannot. What is the reason? Why can't we react in that way? Why our attention is not on that point where we should react in such a manner that we should be absolutely congenial, enjoying each other's company. The reason is our attention is outside. And the attention is outside in the West, as you have seen, is on something wrong, because there is no brother and sisterly feeling. Supposing a brother and sister are walking, they won't look at each other, will they? Will they be watching each other? No. But the attention that goes outside all the time towards all kinds of funny things, because there's no pure relationship between them. Purity helps you to understand the beauty of a person. Otherwise, there's thought in between. Always a thought, if it's a dirty thought, of course, the purity is not there at all. But even other thoughts like possessiveness, of criticism, say, of repulsion, anything like that can kill the joy. So try to understand that there's something wrong with you. That's why you cannot get to the collective. We are one homogeneous, big, huge family. And for any mother, what is the greatest pleasure, which I have told you many times, is that to see her children enjoying each other, loving each other. And when I see all of you loving each other and pulling each other's legs and pinching everyone and enjoying each other's company, I really enjoy it. And when you shout at each other and also sometimes box each other, I like it. Because there's an expression of love in it. And that is what we have to learn, how to express ourselves. First, express yourself to your fellow being that are your kith and kin, are Sahajogis. They are your brothers and they are your sisters. Like once Christ was told, your brother and sister have come. She said, who are my brothers and who are my sisters? These are his brothers and these are his sisters. He is the eldest brother you have and you are all his brothers and sisters. That is how one should understand that this is a relationship of brother and sister. And that's such a pure relationship. Now, when this relationship goes off, you get into troubles, very much into troubles. Whenever I went to Cambridge, I found the Vishnu Maya would just go on bombarding there. Every time there used to be lightning, lightning, lightning. This time it was at least 108 times there was bombardment when I was there. Whole night I couldn't sleep, I was wondering. But now I realize what was the reason is that in Cambridge University, it's a university just like Oxford, any other university. But Cambridge University is one of the most important universities. In that university, there are young people, young boys, young girls studying. In an university, the relationship between brother and sister should be absolutely pure. So pure that generations together, they cannot marry. As we have in our countries, the Gotras. What are the Gotras? Are the universities. And people cannot marry in the same Gotra for generations together. Even now, supposing my Gotra is Shandilya, which must be 13,000-14,000 years back. And even today I cannot marry a person who is from the same Gotra. So imagine such purity was maintained. And that is what it is in a university. There is no purity maintained. That's the reason in Cambridge I found that whenever I go there, Vishnu Maya goes on just, I don't know, she just goes mad. And every time we have had this experience. And now I know the reason, so I'm sure next time she won't do that. It's very important, especially in young age, to understand that we have to keep our attention very straight. If you do not gather wisdom in young age, you can never have wisdom in old age. In young age, you must try to gather wisdom. It's very important. And this wisdom comes from Sri Ganesha, as you know. And what is Sri Ganesha? Is innocence, is purity, and also is knowledge. From that it comes to you, and that purity has to be kept the way Sri Ganesha had kept in his own incarnation as Christ. So we have to understand that our attention has to be so pure that it should not waste any one of our energies. You know that with purity in your eyes, even a glance can create such a beautiful life for others, even a glance. So one has to try is to get very pure eyes. Thou shalt not have adulterous eyes. This is what we have to follow, all of us, and our attention has to be alright. For that, this Raksha Bandhan is a very good thing. Is a very good thing in which you create such personality of your own that you do not anymore try to put your attention onto wrong things. Now this attention goes out with many other things also, like aggressiveness, can be possessiveness. But the main thing is this, that if you do not have lust in your eye, 50% you are alright. And half for 50% is greed, for which you have to work on the Nabhi Chakra and which will work it out on Diwali day. So for today, I think we have to remember that to get rid of all the lust from our eyes, we are celebrating today this beautiful, auspicious day to celebrate the love between brothers and sisters. Now I don't know whom you have chosen to be your new sister today, but it should not be just a thing of a lip service. Sister is a sister, and all your life you have to remember she is your sister. You have to look after her benevolence and her good life, and she has to bless you, or she has to pray to God that you should be always protected. May God bless you all. Today in India, we celebrate a special festival. It is called as Raksha Bandhan. Raksha means protection and Bandhan means the bondage of protection. It's a very nice good social custom to have this beautiful festival today. Today is the full moon day, and this day what we do is to tie a band of threads around the person whom you want to protect. It is done between brothers and sisters. The sisters tie this bondage to the wrist of the brothers, and when they do that, they are putting all their love around the wrist, that it is the day for giving all their love, everything to their brother as a protection, as a symbol of their protection through that thread. It's a very, very simple thread they use. And this has to be tied on the left hand side, but people tie it on the right hand side, which is a mistake, but it has to be tied on the left hand side. In our Sahaja Yoga, the significance of left wrist is that it is the left Vishuddhi. Left Vishuddhi, which is here. And this is the left Vishuddhi expressed here. You know that very well. Now, left Vishuddhi is the place where our relationship of brothers and sisters exist. When they are disturbed within us, we start getting the problem of the left Vishuddhi. In these modern times, To talk of pure relationship seems to be quite boring for many people. But it's very practical and logical. I would say it is the most scientific thing to do. For example, every brother has a special feeling for a sister. And her chastity is very dear to every brother. If he's a normal person, if he's abnormal, then forget it. But normally a brother is very particular about the chastity of the sister. And he doesn't like anybody to in any way even pass a remark against the chastity of a sister. I mean, these natural things we might have lost because of whatever you may call it, the modern style of thinking or the machinery that is sitting on our heads. But the normal thing is to feel that way purely about the sister, and the sister about the brother. Brothers and sisters' relations are extremely pure and are also accepted in this country very well. We have to establish our left Vishuddhi by understanding the purity of brothers and sisters. The purity of brothers and sisters has to be established. Now, today is the day when in India we had a function held where people tied Rakhi to someone whom they found to be a sister. And still now, it's now 10 years have passed to those things, but that day they will call the sister. And sister comes and she ties the Rakhi and the brother has to give some sweet present to her. And the sister makes some nice things for him to eat and everybody is very happy. Even the wife is very happy at such a thing.